Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new weekly writing vlog. I have been trying to film this for the last 20 minutes. I'm just struggling, which is so weird because it's not even like it's been that long since I last filmed a vlog, but I'm just really struggling. And I don't know if it's just because I'm having one of those days where I don't like the way that I look or I don't like the way that I sound. But yeah, before I jump into anything, I did just want to say thank you to everyone that commented on my last video and left such sweet words for me because I really appreciate it. I do often forget that other writers go through what I go through because I don't have a lot of friends. I talk about it all the time. I'm a really solitary person. Writing has always been solitary. So I've learned to kind of just bottle that all up, and I don't want to say I assume I'm the only one that experiences it, but it's like you do start to feel alone because obviously other people, there's this thing with YouTubers where you don't really want to post anything too depressing. You don't want to be a bummer on somebody's timeline. So I feel like most people, when they make vlogs, they're just sharing kind of the good things. And so it's like you kind of feel alone. But I did just want to say thank you to everyone who commented. It made me feel a million times better, and I really, really appreciate it. But yeah, so it's Tuesday, October 22nd. It is 1:15. I called out yesterday and today because on Sunday, my partner and I went up to New Jersey to see the Eagles-Giants game. We're huge Eagles fans. They were free tickets. The Eagles won. It was my first game. Really good first game. I didn't need to take off today, but I had the time and I figured, why not? I also took off next Thursday, Halloween, because that is the day that Dragon Age The Veilguard comes out, and I'm very excited. So I figured today, at the start of this writing vlog, I could share some of the story work for the story that I'm working on, which I am calling Claimed, which is just a shorter version of the real title, which is a little longer, a little wordier, and kind of corny because it's very indicative of the genre, like I mentioned in the last video. The genre is short erotic romance. Mine won't be as short as some of the stories you see on Kindle. If you have ever read like Shaw Hart or Olivia T. Turner or even Hope Ford, I've mentioned those authors before on this channel. They're kind of who I default to when I'm considering what I write. And it's like quick-ish reads, maybe for people who are busy or raising kids and they don't have a lot of time, they can just easily devour a shortish book. And they're over the top, they're corny, kind of unrealistic, feature a lot of insta love, and can be pretty graphic. And that's just kind of what I like to read and what I like to write. And I don't want to say I had an epiphany this morning, but for so long, I've been kind of trying to distance myself from those kinds of books. And for a very arrogant reason, I think, because I know that romance already is looked down on by a lot of people, but also these short erotic romances, I'm not gonna lie, they're a dime a dozen. A lot of them aren't written very well because obviously anybody can publish on Kindle these days. And you do kind of have to shovel through a lot of crap to get to the good authors like Shaw Hart. And so I think I was kind of really afraid of saying what I wrote and then having people be like, oh, okay, well, that stuff sucks, because some of it does suck. And so it's like I wanted to distance myself and say, I'm not like those other short romance writers. I'm better. And I had, I guess, a breakthrough this morning where I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. People write it and people read it. So clearly people enjoy it. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, is a short erotic romance that's super corny, super over the top, and not very believable if you try to compare it to the real world. And yeah, I just thought it would be cool to read my one sentence summary and my query formula, which are both things that I got from Michelle Schusterman. I will link her video down below, her video on fast outlining. And obviously, these aren't things that she created. Like a one sentence summary, it's a hook, movies use them. But I specifically learned from her video. I really like the video. I like the way she lays it out. I just think she's a cool person. She seems relatable, and her channel is super helpful. I do want to say the one sentence summary is kind of a run-on sentence, and my query formula is basically two long run-on sentences. They are not super polished, and they're not, I don't want to say they're not grammatically correct. If it was something I was actually sending to an agent or something, which obviously I'm not, but if, obviously they would need to be edited down and prettified, but they get the job done, because the point is no one really sees this except for you. This is for you when you're outlining, so you can learn the story that you want to write and kind of organize it and make sure you're hitting the beats that you need to hit. So yeah, I have my one sentence summary for Claimed. When things don't work out, with the alpha she's betrothed to. A naive girl makes her escape and must rely on a reclusive lone wolf who doesn't seem to want anything to do with her. And I think that's pretty good. It's different from the one sentence summary I came up with before I started writing the story, like when I was actually in the outlining phase. But things just changed in the zero draft. I'm happy to have a new one sentence summary because it fits better and it just makes more sense. It feels more cohesive. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about the one sentence summary because, like I said, I can change it up and make it better in the future. But I think it really does hit everything it needs to hit for a one sentence summary. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I think you can tell already how over the top it is by when things don't work out with the alpha she's betrothed to. Yeah, this book has like werewolf packs and alphas who can have like arrangements with human women that are betrothed to them to be their mates. In this universe, werewolves prefer to have human women because they essentially are weaker than werewolf women. They're more submissive than werewolf women. It's so over the top, I know, but I'm having fun with it. Now, the query formula is basically two long sentences, and they do follow an actual fill in the blank formula that goes character was status quo until inciting incident happens, and here's how that affects the main character's life. Now, character must goal despite conflict or else consequence. And like I said, you basically are just filling it in, and you don't have to stick 100% to, the formula, but it does serve as a really good starter when you're still trying to figure out how you want your story to go. So yeah, like I said, this is unpolished. There are two long run-on sentences. Don't come for me. My grammar and stuff is much better when I'm actually writing prose. But my query formula goes as follows. Nell was ready for her happily ever after with the alpha she was betrothed to, until she realized what he really wanted was a woman who would never say no to him, and faced with the idea of a future where she was little more than a werewolf's toy, she fled in the night. Now, she must rely on the kindness of Garrett, a grumpy and reclusive lone wolf who gave up on humans a long time ago, to get her back on her feet and find her place in a world she's not prepared for, all while trying to fight her growing attraction to Garrett and her lingering fear that her past will one day come back to bite her. I don't love this as much as I love the one sentence summary, but it gets the point across. And I think that gives you guys a really good idea of what this story is. So, yeah, it is a story where Nell is very naive and sheltered, and her parents made an arrangement with a local werewolf alpha because I don't care if it's unrealistic now. And she realized the alpha was not the man of her dreams that she initially thought he was. And so she ran away, and now she is, having to trust this grumpy asshole who doesn't want anything to do with her to essentially keep her safe and help her get back on her feet. And of course, they fall in love with each other because that's what happens. And there's also a 5 sentence summary, but I'm not going to read that because that actually contains spoilers. You're actually writing like everything that happens like you would if an actual agents will request like an actual full, not synopsis, but basically a summary of everything that happens. And I really do recommend Michelle Schusterman's video on this. It's a really fun method of outlining, and it's a really easy way to do a little bit of story work before you write a story, or even after you've written a story, so I do recommend that. But yeah, so I am actually working on chapter 1, which I wrote on Friday. I rewrote it. I'm writing from a zero draft, and so I rewrote chapter 1 on Friday, but I was trying too hard to kind of like bulk it up, and it doesn't need to be. I'm trying to get out of my mindset of more words equals better story. And I will say, I think that is something that I unintentionally made myself not learn, but I made myself believe with things like NaNoWriMo that word count was everything, and it's not. So I'm trying not to overwrite. So what I'm doing right now is editing chapter 1 and trying to get rid of useless shit. I don't normally do this. I don't edit chapter by chapter. I will write the full story before I even touch it. But I just really wanted to mess around with chapter 1 so that I can get into the story again now that we are starting a new week. I gotta say, I am feeling it this afternoon. I'm tentatively excited. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to editing chapter 1 and put on some music. Okay, so it is about 4 o'clock and I took a little break to eat, and then I was playing around and making a mood board, even though I suck at them and I still don't quite understand them. But anyways, I did rewrite chapter 1 and then write a new chapter 2. I do feel pretty good, and I don't know, I'm just feeling excited. It didn't feel like pulling teeth working on this, so I feel really optimistic, and I've already filmed quite a bit today, but I'm going to keep it going for the rest of the week. This is going to, of course, be a weekly writing vlog. But yeah, so tomorrow I will be writing chapter 3, which is the meet cute, because the two are together currently, my two characters, but one of them is unconscious, and in the meet cute, they actually meet each other, so I'm looking forward to that, especially because now that I have the story finished, I feel like I can really work on Garrett's character. I'm always afraid of making my grumpy characters too mean, so I feel like now I can actually work on him and make him grumpy, but not the kind of character you hate. And right now, I'm going to go downstairs and play a video game until my partner gets home and I have to worry about dinner. So yeah, starting tomorrow, the meet's cute, and I'm excited. So today was a good day writing wise. I wrote out chapter 3, which I realized was only half of the meet cute beat. So then I went through my zero draft so that I could map out exactly like how many chapters per beat, just so I know. It was interesting to say the least, you know, like the getting to know each other beat has like 4 chapters. I think the dark moment has 4 chapters. So it's interesting to see. It's also just kind of helpful because now when I finish chapter, I don't know, 6, I know I'm not quite out of the getting to know each other beat yet. It helps. I don't know how it helps, but it helps me mentally. So yeah, I finished chapter 3 today, so I'm halfway through the meet cute, excuse me. I did start chapter 4, but I haven't finished it. I'm finding this is a lot easier to write, and I don't know if it's just because I like this story more, or if it's a simpler story than maybe Pine Hollow was, or if it's just I removed that publishing pressure from my shoulders. You know, now that I'm not obsessively thinking about publishing before the story itself is even finished, I'm not agonizing over every single word that I put on the page. Like, I still want to obviously write well. I want to write a good, technically sound story, but I'm not obsessively trying to make every little detail perfect like I was before, so I think that's helping. And I'm just having a little fun with it, and it's a nice exercise writing something like this because I'm trying so hard to get over my needs to be realistic mindset, because most romance isn't realistic, and that's why it's fun. That's why we like reading it. It's an escape. So it's interesting to, like, I'll write something and I'm like, nah, this is stupid. This is really corny. But then I'm like, no, that's what we like. So it's been an interesting experiment, but I am happy to say that I am still feeling really optimistic about this story. So yeah, I just got home. My partner isn't home yet. I don't know what we're doing for dinner because he was gonna surprise me with taking me out to dinner last night, but I didn't realize that, so I started cooking before he got home. So I'm kind of hoping we go out tonight instead, but he's not home yet. It is 3:43, and I think I'm gonna go in and try to finish chapter 4, but I also did want to make like a tracker in my notebook. I just like trackers, but I want to be able to check off each chapter as I rewrite it, basically. So yeah, I might do the tracker and then try to write finish chapter 4. I don't know. I just finished chapter 4, which is the second half of my meet cute beat, and it's too long. It is 2,500 words, which is basically the word count, like the suggested word count from Nell Alexander for the meet cute as a whole. So my meet cute, over 2,000 words more than what Nell Alexander suggests, but it is what it is. I really liked this scene. I liked kind of toughening up how Garrett talks to Nell, because I do want him to be super grumpy. but I also think I'm making it clear that he's kind of a softie underneath his exterior. Yeah, I liked that scene. My partner still isn't home, but I'm gonna stop for the day. I'm going to tie it up in my tracker, and then I'm just gonna go downstairs and chill until dinner time. So another car update, just because I'm not going to film when I go inside, but I wrote one chapter today, chapter 5, and this was after, of course, I did like my brainstorming to see where I could fit in some new scenes. There weren't that many, which is a good thing. And it was like easy to kind of change things around enough so that an additional scene really only needed one more chapter added to the getting to know each other beat. And then I wrote chapter 5, and I'm not like upset, but chapter 5 is basically just a quarter of the getting to know each other beat, and it's already 2,000 words. And I think the getting to know each other beat, like the recommended word count was like 3,000. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I'm going over that word count. But you know, when I was thinking about what I wrote today, it's all pretty necessary. Like, I did cut out some of my wordier sentences while I was writing them. I feel like I'm getting better at spotting wordier sentences. And so when I reached the end, I was glad. I was like, man, I only told the necessary bits. I didn't over-explain things. And then to find out that it was still like 2,000 words long, I was like, that's a little disappointing. But I do feel good about the story itself. And like I said, I do feel like I'm only telling the necessary bits of the story. So I'm not too upset about it. And, you know, for my second draft, I can always take more out if I need to, if I realize that some things maybe aren't quite as necessary as I think they are today. Maybe I'll look at them a couple weeks from now and say, I don't need this. So I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it! I'm not worried about any of this!
But yeah, I'm really happy with it, honestly. I gave Garrett's cousin Tilda a little bit more character, and I like her interactions with Nell. And I think, I don't know, it's like, aw, they're friends. Like, I think that'll be the reaction of anybody that might read this in the future. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling pretty good about life in general, which is kind of funny after that really dramatic and depressive video that I posted before this one. But it's like I needed that to, I guess, like shed that bummer mood, and it's like I've realized that my life is pretty good. I'm trying to, every day I pull a tarot card, and I'm like asking the universe for like what guidance can it give me today, or like is there anything I should know on this day, essentially. And the card I pulled today, oh my god, why can't I remember? I'm new to this, I'm still learning tarot, but the card I pulled today was all about like harmony and appreciating this life that you've built for yourself. And it felt very, I know a lot of people think like tarot and stuff like that is just, you know, pointless, that it's all bullshit. But like I said, I'm learning it. And the card today, I think it was the 10 of Cups. It really seemed to fit the mood that I woke up in. And it kind of just encouraged me, I don't know, to keep feeling that way, to really take a step back and think about it from an almost outside point of view. And that point of view tells me that I have a pretty good life. And all things considered, when I was in high school, I didn't think I would even make it this far because I thought I would off myself. So
I almost killed myself, Julie! Russell!
I'm doing really good. And yeah, I guess I wanted to take a second because I did post a very dramatic crybaby video the other day. But I'm happy. I am in a good place in my life, and I'm in a better place than a lot of people, and I shouldn't take it for granted. And yeah, I don't know. So that was a moment of corny sentimentality from me. But I'm gonna go inside. I'm not gonna do any more writing because I don't want to start chapter 6 and not finish it, but I don't see myself being able to write a full chapter. Agatha All Along comes on Wednesdays, but it comes on too late for us to watch it. So we watch it on Thursdays, so I'm really excited. We have that episode. I don't know what we're doing for dinner because usually we'll get takeout on nights that we have things to watch, like Agatha All Along. But we did end up going out to eat last night. We went to an Indian place that just recently opened up. So I don't know what the dinner plans are for tonight. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go inside and chill until my partner gets home and figure out dinner, and then watch Agatha All Along, which is like literally one of the best Marvel shows ever, and I am very critical of Marvel. Believe it or not, in my Wanda hoodie, I am very critical of Marvel, and I am not a huge fan of most Marvel properties. But yeah, enough rambling. I'm gonna go inside and chill, and I'm actually really excited to get to chapter 6 tomorrow. Like, I'm feeling so refreshed and so optimistic about this story, so I can't wait to get back to writing. So it's Friday, it is 11, and I've just been working for most of the morning. That's the one thing I love about my job, is that I start early. I start at 6, and so I can kind of get everything done that I need to get done fairly early on in the day, and then the rest of my day is lighter. And I also was able to read the first chapter of this book. I picked this up on Tuesday because I went to Walmart for some grocery items, and honestly, I've never really looked at the books at Walmart. I usually will keep my book browsing to Target for some reason, but I feel like the Walmart book section had a much bigger variety, so that might be where I go from now on when I want to look at books. There are like no bookstores around me. I think the nearest Barnes & Noble is 40 to 45 minutes away, which sucks. But yeah, so I saw this, and I saw the edges, and I like witches. I am considering myself a witch, so, I mean, if you didn't know that, I'm not a religious person, but I do consider myself a baby witch. So I saw it and I thought, that looks nice, and it is a forbidden love story, a romantasy, and it's a part of a duology, and the second book is out, but Walmart only had the hardback, and I didn't want to mix a paperback with a hardback. Plus, what if I didn't like it? So yeah, I figure once I finish it, if I like it, I will put the paperback on my wish list and wait for the paperback to come out. But yeah, so that's basically all I've done today, is work and read one chapter. I am ready to jump into my writing for the day. My main goal is just chapter 6, and that should be fairly easy. It should be a short-ish chapter. I got my first coffee of the day, which is more of a hot chocolate coffee latte with a splash of caramel. I recommend it. I like my coffee sweet. Although I probably wouldn't do this with every cup. If I have a second cup, it's just gonna be straight coffee. I'm still feeling excited to get into it, which is good. I was gonna make a mood board so that I could put it as the background when I'm in composition mode on Scrivener, but I think the reason I'm not good at mood boards is because nothing can match the aesthetic in my head. Nothing can match what I see when I think about my story, and I'm not gonna force it, because that is my biggest problem, is wanting to be like other people. So I force things like mood boards. But yeah, so I'm just gonna open up Scrivener and put on some tunes and get to writing. My heater is on, so hopefully you do not hear that very loud. But I just finished chapter 6. It is about 12:30, so it took me a little longer than I thought it would, but I do like it. It is close to 1900 words. Again, it's a little longer than I would have liked, but I like what I'm writing. I like the detail I'm putting into it. I think my characters are strong, and I'm just enjoying myself as I write it, which, hold on, let me fix a typo, a really glaring typo. Instead of course of action, it was just course o action. Like, you know, I have a little stereotypical leprechaun accent or something. But anyways, I'm happy with what I'm writing. I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. And I think obviously that's all that matters. That is the goal here after my little depressive spiral. I finished my coffee, but I don't think I'm gonna make another one. I'm also feeling a little hungry even though I snacked on some cheese and crackers. And I have some leftover shrimp curry, so I might heat that up and try and get back to the AuthorTube videos I have on my watch later. I fell behind, and then while I was catching up, I fell behind on all the new stuff that's coming out. So I'm in a cycle of trying to catch up and falling further behind in the time I spent catching up. So I promise I'm getting to y'all. If you guys post videos, I promise I'm trying my hardest. I literally do not know how it is possible for me to fall so behind. I do plan to start chapter 7 today. Although it might just be because it's Friday, it might just be because I'm super excited about Dragon Age next week, but I'm kind of in a video game mood. Not Dragon Age. I would have to re-download Dragon Age Origins if I wanted to play it. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to play Origins, so I might re-download it. I thought I wanted to do another Inquisition run before the Veilguard came out, but the last time I turned on Inquisition and had to go through stupid frickin' Haven again at the beginning, I said, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I have done this literally 100 times at this point. I don't want to do this anymore. I might not finish chapter 7, and I might, you know, once I get off of work, I might just disappear downstairs and game a little bit. We'll see. Maybe I can finish. What's chapter 7 even look like? Maybe it is a shortish chapter. Oh shit, chapter 7 is actually the new chapter that I have to write. Oh, yikes. So I should honestly do some brainstorming before... Yeah, that is a whole new chapter. So I will not be jumping into chapter 7 because I want to brainstorm it first. It is 2 new scenes, basically, that happen concurrently, thankfully. Because then after that, it should basically be smooth sailing again. I only needed, like, a little bit more context for something. So after I eat, I will be brainstorming for chapter 7. Okay, so I had lunch and I worked on brainstorming chapter 7. It looks like a lot, but I think I will be able to, at least the first half of this, work it in to kind of a background, like telling versus showing, because I just need the context and it's not like actually important scenes. So I'm not going to start chapter 7, which I think is just the smarter idea, rather than starting it and then waiting over the weekend to then finish it on Monday. I just don't think that's a smart move for me personally. So I'm going to just hold on to what I brainstormed, and on Monday morning, I will start writing chapter 7. And I'm feeling pretty good. This story I started this week, and I'm already at chapter 7, which is pretty cool. And I'm not using like word count as a metric of success, but it is interesting to me to see where I am, I guess. This week, rewriting from a zero draft, I wrote 6 chapters and I'm just over 10,500 words. So I think that's pretty good. There's going to be a total of 24 chapters plus the epilogue, so 25 chapters, I guess. If I keep up at this rate, you know, I'll be like past 40,000, but still under 50,000. I don't even want to get to 40,000. That still feels like too long. I feel like I do not have enough of a story to write to make this a 50,000 word story. So I don't think 30,000 will be where I end up at, especially having had to add a new chapter. But I'm also hoping I don't get all the way up to 40,000. But we'll see. If that's how this story has to go, this story has to go. Like I said, I am just trying to have fun with it and tell this story to the best of my ability. So hey, if that means it ends up being like 42,000 words, I can deal with that. Next week, when we jump into chapter 7, I will of course be filming a weekly writing vlog. I can't guarantee it will be a full week because the Veilguard comes out on Thursday, which is also Halloween, which kind of sucks. I feel really guilty because I've been excitedly talking about the Veilguard, and my partner, he was like, like I was excited. I was like, oh my god, 9 days, we're down to the single digits, 9 days until Veilguard. And he was like, 9 days until Halloween, you mean? Because it's both of our favorite holiday. And I was like, yeah, 9 days till Halloween. And it does suck because Halloween, I love Halloween. And we had a really great Halloween last year because we get so many trick-or-treaters apparently. And that was our first Halloween in this house. We lived in an apartment before that. We didn't get any trick-or-treaters. And last year, like, it was like busloads of kids walking up and down the street. It was wonderful. It was like what you see in movies. So I am very excited for Halloween. But how am I also not supposed to be excited for Dragon Age when I've been waiting for this game for like over 10 years, I think? But yeah, so I will be filming a new weekly vlog next week, and we will be starting chapter 7. I'm still in the getting to know each other beats, but that's fine. This is gonna be my longest beat. I'm not upset about it. It would be cool if I could get past this beat by next week. I would like to be at the first kiss by the end of next week, and I think that's really doable. If you have watched this video, thank you. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you to everyone who commented on my last video. Whether you were able to relate or whether you were speaking some sense into me, you know, maybe trying to nicely tell me like, hey, suck it up, like everyone feels like this. Thank you to everyone who commented because it was eye-opening, and it was just really nice to know that I'm not alone and that it's okay to feel what I'm feeling, and that it's not a big deal, that if I don't get traditionally published, it's not the end of the world. And at this point, do I even want to be traditionally published anymore? It's like, yeah, it would be great to walk into a Barnes & Noble and see my books. Yeah, it would be great to have someone else, like an agent, editors, whatever, handling all the like big girl responsibilities for me. Yeah, that would be great. Would it be nice to not have to worry about marketing? Of course. But do I really want to be beholden to a publishing house? Along with your comments in my last video, it's been nice to kind of take a step back and reevaluate what I really truly want. And what I really truly want is to have fun and be creative and have people read my work. And that is all stuff that I can do without getting traditionally published. So yeah, all that to say, thank you for all of your kind words on my last video, and I hope you guys are sticking around. It's really nice to have you all here, and I'm excited about this story that I'm working on, and it's not gonna be for everyone. I'm sure when I read my one-sentence summary at the beginning of this video, there were people that were like, this is not for me, this is not up my alley at all. But I'm hoping that one day soon, I will be able to share this with you guys. But yeah, I am getting off of here, and again, thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video when we are starting chapter 7, and I am still trying to catch up on all of my watch later videos, so please forgive me. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.